of Lagos. It is obviously same-sex marriage. So the narrative that these people are trying to draw that, oh, he's a cross-dresser is simply wrong. It is now up to us to point it out. They are hiding under that fact that, oh, he's a cross-dresser to perpetrate what they are doing. It doesn't mean that it is indirectly approved or legalized. No, it is not.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. I will need to introduce myself to you. By the way, I'm Jim Dabosa, as everybody should know. And for inviting you, Pastor Ologun and Ben from Lagos, I really appreciate you for being here today. Thank you very much. Now, we will start now. I will start from Pastor Ologun to introduce yourself to us.
Good afternoon. My name is Pastor Stephen Ologun. I'm a Nigerian by birth. I'm based in UK. I'm based in London. I'm a full-time pastor.
Thank you very much. Ben,
good afternoon.
Please.
Yes, my name is Benedict Olomu. I am an IT consultant. I'm a businessman, actually, and I'm a development speaker. That's what I consider myself. But I'm based in Abuja, in Nigeria.
We've done the introduction now. We've seen the controversial things that is going on in Nigeria now. One of these Nollywood actress, Eniola, he wanted to launch a film and then bring in Bobrisky to the place, create a lot of noise. But you know that in UK here, gay is permitted. No law, guy, stopping them. You can change, transgender from men to women, from women to men. But in the case of Africa, especially Nigeria, with that, since Bobrisky started all this transgender, and then, for Nigerian government, looking at him to go to that full length. Now, Pastor Ologun, let me throw the question to you now. Did you think that what Bobrisky is doing in Nigeria, do you think that is allowed?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, we need to look at what he is doing. Then we look at the law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I'm not a specialist when it comes to the interpretation of Nigerian law. So I don't know. I'm not so clear about what the law says. If it is here in UK, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender, the so-called LGBT, is allowed here. There's no law against it. But much as I know, Nigerian law does not allow the open display or open practice of LGBT, so to say. So if the law is clear about something, and someone is also doing something that seems to be against the law, then we need to ask two questions. Is the law effective? Or is this individual deliberately breaking the law? So if the law is effective and is practicing what he is practicing, which seems to be against the law, then we want to know whether he is actually breaking the law or the law is too soft on him.
Thank you very much. Ben, so what can you say to this matter?
In my own, it's very, very clear to me. Yeah, in the UK, it may not be prohibited, but in Nigeria, we have the same-sex prohibition law in Nigeria. It was passed in 2023, and Goodluck Jonathan signed it into law in January of 2024. And in fact, in 2023, before the National Assembly passed that law, that was when you remember that this former Prime Minister, Tony Blair, visited Nigeria. He was pushing vehemently. In fact, even Obama at the time, they were all pushing vehemently for Nigeria not to pass that law. But it was passed. And in January of 2024, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan passed that bill into law, and it became a law. And in fact, if you ask me, I think that was one of the reasons that the Obama administration, the UK, and all the Western allies were so vehement in making sure that Goodluck Jonathan was voted out. That's my personal opinion anyway. But if you look at the details of the same-sex prohibition law in Nigeria, what you find out is that it frowns against two things, basically. Number one, it frowns against same-sex marriage. And for that, it prescribes 14 years imprisonment for the two persons who engage in same-sex marriage. And then it also prescribes 14 years imprisonment for the church or mosque that allows or carries out the marriage. And then it goes further to do something that is very, very profound. Anybody, individual or corporate entity, club, association, organization that engages in any activity that can be termed the public display of same-sex affection. I'm quoting those words now. Public display of same-sex affection is guilty of violating this law, and that person is liable to be, upon conviction, to go to prison for 10 years. So those are the two key things that we can take. It's a 6-page document, not so long, and it's very explicit and concise. In Nigeria here, anybody who engages in same-sex marriage violates the law and will go to jail for 14 years. And anybody who displays same-sex affection publicly, you can do it in private where nobody sees you. But if you do it in public, such like we see that Bobrisky is doing on social media, that person is liable to go to jail for 10 years.
Now, thank you, Ben. Now, as you spoken now, but do you think that what Bobrisky is doing in Nigeria now, you know, do you think that is encouraging to our young ones, our children?
It is definitely not encouraging. In fact, somebody sent me a video about 2-3 hours ago where I think Bobrisky was coming out from an event and police heavily, heavily kitted police, heavily armed police were guarding him. They were his personal protection details. Now, what does that tell you? Somebody said something that was profound. I can't remember the person's name now, but it was profound to me. And it's just the fact that he said values are the stuff upon which great societies are built. Great values. Now, what is great value is subjective depending on who you are talking to. But right now in Africa, we have our own value systems. And I can tell that from what Bobrisky and the likes are doing. In fact, I have very strong reasons to believe that he's being backed by these LGBTQ people from the West. What Bobrisky and his likes are doing is tearing down our own societal values. So right now, the young people in our society will see a Bobrisky. He doesn't offer any value to the society, to add to the society. He's not a content creator. He's not a business person. All he does is come out to say that I am a woman, and he goes after men when we know that he is a man. So that is man-to-man affection, and he displays this in public. What do you think that would do to our Nigerian youth? It will influence them along such lines. And since he is breaking the law, and even the police that is supposed to arrest him and prosecute him are now the ones even providing him security. And then you have a situation whereby this issue of very dark man who criticized him, and okay, you can say he went a bit too far by actually accusing the DIGs and the senators. He spoke against it, and he is the one that ended up being arrested. That sends very strong messages to the psyche of our youths. And it is not good. It tells you that, oh, okay, fine. If you roll with the high and mighty in a society, you can break societal laws and you get away with it. And even something as strong as this same-sex prohibition law that we have in Nigeria, you can go against it and if you have the police on your side, then nothing can happen to you. So it definitely does not augur well for our society in any way. This is not about morality now. This is not about morality in any way. So I am not talking because I'm a Christian or because I'm a pastor or because I'm a Muslim or an imam. That's not how I'm talking. I'm talking about something that is law. And I'm talking about values in our society. It does not augur well for our society at all. He's breaking the law, and the people who are supposed to enforce the law, they're not going after him. And then in terms of our values, this is not our nature. And somebody is somewhere trying to force it in on our youths, and nobody is doing anything about it. It pains me very, very hard, seriously.
Thank you very much. Pastor Logan, about this Bobrisky, what is your view?
Yeah, I'm very much on the same page with Ben, because when we say something is in our law, we need to come out clean and interpret the law and help people to obey the law as much as possible. So if we want to, if we think that this thing, because saying something on one hand and practicing something different from what we are saying on the other hand is nothing but an act of hypocrisy. Now, if the government believe that, well, there's nothing wrong in somebody, so to say, being a very important personality in the society, therefore he has the power to break the law, then we could as well say, well, what is good for the goose is also good for the gander. So let's legalize this issue and make it a practice, an open practice for everybody. But then this is not the side that I'm into. I'm not campaigning for legalization of anything that is wrong in the system. But I'm only saying that when you say this thing is bad, let everybody, including the people that made the law, let all of us stand up and say it is bad, it is wrong, it is against our law, and we have to discard it. But if we say this thing is against the law and we are openly practicing it, definitely we are doing something that is not helpful to our system. We are doing something that is not helpful to the future generation. We are doing something that is not helpful to the society in general. So people may take advantage of that and say, well, I have I have a point of a reference. So and so person did so thing at so time, and they could still go away with it. So this is all we are saying, that look, whatever is the law, let the law be law and let it be supreme. Let everybody be subjected to it. So like he said, what happened recently, I see it as a way of some of the few allies coming out with a deliberate intention to send a message to the people in power or to the government that, look, this is what your law says, but how effective, how strong is the law when it comes to certain people in the society?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Ben, yeah. I see, the presentation that we presented, here on the screen now. Now, before I move further, let me ask you a question now. Which means gay is indirectly legalized in Nigeria. Being looking at the Bobrisky now, because if you look at Nigeria today, it's Christian and a Muslim in Nigeria now. I get my point now. And when we look at the ratio of it, the percentage of it now, we know that okay, Christians still have a larger something, and the Muslim, they still have the control of it now. By looking at Bobrisky now, there's a lot of young men that hiding or secretly, do this gay in Nigeria now. And then the so-called our law enforcement, they were looking at them. And then to allow Bobrisky to that level in Nigeria, I get my point now.
Yeah.
To allow him to that level, which means transgender or gay is indirectly legalized in Nigeria. So what can you say?
It's not indirectly legalized, though. It's not. The Bobrisky case is somehow peculiar, because if you cast your mind back, if you I think some 2 weeks back, some 2 months back, there was a situation where you had some 40 couples that were getting married in Delta State.
Yeah.
I think we had a repeat of that somewhere, even in Akwa Ibom State.
Yeah.
And the police went in there and arrested them.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So
Yeah.
it is not legalized.
Indirectly legalized. I'm not saying legalized. Indirectly.
Whether directly or indirectly, it's not. What Bobrisky is trying to do, which I think that civil society organizations and churches and mosques, because we shouldn't just come and just talk only and go. If the church and the mosque are the custodians of the moral code, even our traditional institutions in Nigeria, if they are the custodians of our own moral values, then I will expect them to come out and speak against this and do much more than speak. Engage these people legally. There is nothing wrong with us writing petitions against Bobrisky to the Nigerian police. Nothing wrong. And point out how Bobrisky is flouting our laws. If you say directly or indirectly, look at it this way. What the people that are backing Bobrisky are trying to do is this. They are trying to say that Bobrisky is a cross-dresser. You know, like James Brown. If you remember James Brown, the American jazz artist, he behaved like he chose to dress like a woman sometimes, right? And even in some movies, you have some men who dress like women. There are American comedians that in their what do you call it now? In their comedy shows, right?
It's happening in Nigeria now.
Good. They choose to dress like women. Now, that is a cross-dresser. But a cross-dresser can be a man who chooses to dress like a woman, but still recognizes that he is a man. Still accepts that he is a man. You understand? But what Bobrisky is trying to do is trying to pretend that he is a cross-dresser. And then say
it's not.
She's not. She is not. If you're a cross-dresser, you still agree that you're a man, and you still go after women normally. Because if you look at the same-sex law, the same-sex prohibition law that I have on screen here, there's a place where it talks about the acceptable form of marriage in Nigeria is between a man and a woman. So if Bobrisky is a man and is going after other men like he's doing, claiming that he's the mommy of Lagos, it is obviously same-sex marriage. So the narrative that these people are trying to draw that, oh, he's a cross-dresser is simply wrong. It is now up to us to point it out. They are hiding under that fact that, oh, he's a cross-dresser to perpetrate what they are doing. It doesn't mean that it is indirectly approved or legalized. No, it is not. It is left for us to now take up the matter and say, no, a cross-dresser is a cross-dresser. A gay person is a gay person. Anybody who openly promotes on social media, on national television, on print media, publicly promotes same-sex affection, like Bobrisky is doing, is breaching our same-sex prohibition law and is liable to go to jail, prison for 10 years. If the police turns a deaf ear or a blind eye to what Bobrisky is doing, we should not. Remember, in the election of 2023, presidential election, you remember when MC Oluomo came and made the video was public about how he was threatening some people that if they don't vote for APC or vote for Tinubu, they whatever they see they get and all that. Remember when the spokesperson for the Lagos State Police spokesperson was asked that why would MC Oluomo make that statement and he gets away with it? He said that nobody has laid any complaints about it. That's one, and that MC Oluomo was just joking. Meanwhile, when Festus Keyamo and all these other people, anything they hear that Obi supporters say, they will quickly write petition. So we too must understand the power of black and white as far as civil service or public service is concerned in Nigeria. As far as legal or not legal is concerned, there's power to black and white. So it is our responsibility to say that we write petition to the police to point out how Bobrisky is flouting our same-sex prohibition law, so that they can take appropriate action. Because right now they can just simply hide and say, oh, Shebi the guy said he's a cross-dresser, make una leave him now, or make una leave him, he's not flouting any law, he's a cross-dresser, but he's not. What he's doing to the psyche and how he's influencing our youth is not something that should be allowed, considering that we have a law that goes against it.
Thank you very much. Now, Pastor Logun, now, as this case of gay or no gay, transgender or no transgender in Nigeria now, this issue is still continuously, surface in the corridor of Nigeria today. And if you see the opinion, now the mindset of, let's say, African Nigeria now, they believe in that transgender now, and they believe in that gay now. That's what is happening in Nigeria now. The mindset of a lot of people now, gay or no gay. Because if you see our comedian, our artists, if they want to do a play, they've taken it as somehow. You see a lot of them, like Femi, Odunlade, and some other guys dressing like a woman, do like Sisi or whatever, something in their play now, in their role now. Now, do you think that as this is going on in Nigeria now, gradually now, in the real future now, do you think that this thing will not be, being the big issue for Nigerians?
Yes, thank you. It is not just in the nearer future, it is already an issue. In the sense that people are doing this thing, and now this gay or lesbianism or whatever we call it, is not the only area of the law that people are breaking indirectly in our society. So they are breaking the law in so many areas. Now, for laws to be effective and supreme, people must be enforced. Looking at it, generally in every society, human beings they feel more comfortable breaking the law. So the reason why they don't break the law so easily in Western world is that for everything you do, there is a consequence. And they will make sure that you pay the price of every violation of the law in the Western world. But what we are saying, and I believe exactly what Ben is saying, is that, one, if we have something as a law, law must be interpreted as law, law must be obeyed, and if anyone break the law, somebody in the society should be able to step forward and say, look, this thing is against our law. How come this individual is allowed to go to this extent? So I throw a challenge against his action in court. And then, of course, both sides will be heard according to the law. So it now depends on how the prosecution present the case and how the other one defend himself. So if he defend himself in such a way. But the problem we are facing generally is this. Every of our major religion, whether Christianity, Islam, or traditional religion, in all spheres of life, we are against this so-called LGBTQ that is well practiced in Western world. So if we are against it and you see it, so now let me ask a question. All these people, whether Bobrisky or the people behind him, because he's not acting alone, so there must be a strength behind his action. All of them, don't they have religion they belong to? At least Bobrisky should be one of these three major religions. If he's not a Christian, he will be a Muslim. If he's not a Muslim, he will be traditionalist or
He's
whatever.
a Muslim.
Okay, or let's put it that way. So, and being a Muslim, I believe he must be under a particular religious leader. What exactly is his leader preaching to him? What exactly is his society or the environment where he lives? How do they treat him? Or, I mean, there are so many open questions in line with what has happened that somebody has to step forward to answer. And until we have people who are ready to take the bull by the horn and say, look, this thing at this level, I'm putting my feet down. I'm putting my life on the front line over this situation. It just have to stop, so that even if I'm being punished for it, I have to do something to prevent the future generation from falling into the same trap. And we just have to be honest with ourselves. Look at our university today. Look at the young generation that are coming up. Some of the things we hardly hear about in the past. You see, virtually every university now, they talk about cultism. And what is cultism? Cultism is having a religious or a leader, so to say, that is that believe in certain ideology that doesn't necessarily flow with the rest of the society. He is promoting his ideology and gaining followers. So if people are promoting ideology that is against the law and they are gaining followers, they are becoming popular. It is only a matter of time. They will come out once they gather momentum and they become strong. They will only come out and make their ideology known. And by the time it gets to that, it may already become too late. How did the so-called Boko Haram get to where it is today? It is already a thorn in the flesh of the society. I believe it must have started as a nucleus somewhere. But because everybody are comfortable to keep mute, now see where we are. It has grown to a level whereby to curtail it now is a bigger problem.
Thank you. Ben, let me throw one question to you now.
Okay.
Let's go to that boy, very dark man. You know, before he was being arrested, I saw some of the video that posted about Bobrisky, where Bobrisky, you know, was making noise on those this immorality sex tape there, and then, you know, see it on the screen, where Bobrisky, you know, sitting on the lap of a man. Who is that guy that Bobrisky is sitting on his lap, kissing each other? Now, the police, to the best of my knowledge, of which maybe, let me say, you know, that the police, I think they will see those video, you know, display on the internet, display on all this site. So why not the police, you know, invite Bobrisky for all those immorality video or tapes that you know we also, you know, the display on the internet? Why not the police invite him?
See,
you know, professionally.
The police is like our legal system. They are supposed to be blind to persons and only open to the law. That's what they're supposed to be. So the police normally should look out and say, okay, what's going on here? We have a responsibility to enforce the law. We have a responsibility to prevent breakdown of law and order. That's the police. But there's something that the Nigerian police, something that I have noticed about them. There are certain things that we go on in Nigeria as a society today. The police will turn a blind eye to it. Why? Depending on who is involved. It's personal relationships. It happens. If I am a person and I know some people in high positions in government, then I would do some things and the police would try to turn a blind eye to it. So for that, I will always call out the police any day, anytime. In fact, I did a video yesterday and I asked the police the same question. That why is it that, okay, fine, you arrested a very dark man, claiming that he... But funny enough, even thinking about it now, I didn't see any video of very dark man being arrested. So, well, that's another thing. And then he was released on Sunday. I have never seen where police release people on Sunday. I've never seen it. So that's making me to question certain things. But then again, let's just even look at it that for all purposes and intention, that Bobrisky, very dark man actually said what he said, and he indicted the DIGs and senators. And out of nowhere, the police invited him because, okay, no, it was not out of nowhere. We were told that Bobrisky and Iyabo Ojo,
Dike, Sam Clare, you know,
they wrote a petition. You see the power of petitions.
Yeah.
So it is our responsibility now to also take the bull by the horn. The way these people were allegedly claimed to have written petition that resulted in the arrest of very dark man, we should also write petition to expose what Bobrisky is doing to the police, to complain, so that the police can also arrest Bobrisky. Because the police can also just throw their hands in the air and say that, oh, we were only acting on the petition that was written by Bobrisky and co, according to the allegations out there. So it is also for us to say that, not to just sit down and say, oh, police, do your work. No, we should also write the petitions to the police and say, look at this section 5 of the same-sex law. This is what we have in the presentation screen. If you look at section 5, in fact, let's even read that from section 4, subsection 2. It says that the public show of same-sex amorous relationship, directly or indirectly, is prohibited. And then if you go to section 5, it says, if you look at section 2, right? Yeah. Or even, let's read from section 2. It says a person who enters, who registers, operates, or participates in gay clubs, societies, and organizations, directly or indirectly makes public show of same-sex amorous relationship in Nigeria, commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a term of 10 years imprisonment.
Hold on, Ben. With that section 2 that you read now, under number 5,
subsection 5, subsection 5, section 5, yes.
That's what Bobrisky is doing.
That's what he's doing.
Because displacing, you know, making noise when you're having sex, and then
publicly,
or the public this thing, you posted
a man sitting on your lap,
that's
and all that. In fact, we need that video.
I think
we need those pictures to attach to our petition to the police.
I think that even though either petition or no petition, with that police, I believe some of them will see it, they will saw that video. So it's supposed to be questioned.
Yeah, we can question them. But the truth is, we cannot just sit back and say, okay, fine, they are supposed to question, they have not questioned, then we let it slide.
Okay.
We also have that responsibility as citizens to call their attention to it in case they say they are too busy chasing after terrorists and chasing after kidnappers. We can call their attention to it in petitions and say, look at what we are seeing. Section 5, subsection 2 of the Same-Sex Prohibition Act in Nigeria actually says that Bobrisky is actually guilty of breaching that law, and upon conviction is liable to 10 years imprisonment. Mr. Police, why are you not taking action against him? Please take action against him. We can do this.
Very bad. That's very bad. Pastor Logo, now, as Ben was, you know, stated it now, and then being contributed to it now, do you think that there's a lot of people, they were afraid to talk in Nigeria about this issue? Do you think so?
I wouldn't outrightly say people are afraid to talk. But we have some common slangs in Nigeria that, look, up until now, many did not know that some of the things we are doing, our society, we are so used to certain things. And we live in a society where abnormality has become normal. And normality becoming more and more abnormal. For example, this popular statement, order from above. You hear it almost everywhere. It has become a legalized statement in our society. What is order from above? It means that someone somewhere who is facing the law, another one who is supposed to either interrogate or investigate his case, or prosecute, or if possible, subject him to adequate punishment, will simply receive an order that this individual should be released. So some of all these things, we have a society that so many things needed attention. So unless we collectively, as a group of people, face what is not right. I mean, I give credit to our religious leaders. They preach quite well, hammering on moral, which seems to be one of the major core of their callings. But above that, there are certain things too. They should let the society know that what is wrong, let us address it as being wrong. Now, almost everybody will do anything in our society today to make money. Greed is legal. It is legal as long as all you need is make your money. So nobody cares how you made the money as long as you are rich and you are respected. So whether through greedy means, whether you kill someone to even acquire the wealth, no one cares. So many things are not right with the society. And somebody or a group of people, because when we want to make it an individual project, I don't think any single individual is powerful enough to fight a system that has gone into a serious, I'm careful to use any word now, or that has gone very extreme on the wrong side. So it is not a battle of an individual. It has to be a collective battle. It has to be what the entire civil society is against, and we must come out and fight it openly. If as a church we are against it, we must come out and fight it openly. If as a mosque we are against it, or religious group, we must come out and fight it collectively, and we must fight it openly. So we shouldn't expect any single individual to put on a breastplate of a battle and say, well, I'm up to the task. Let me challenge Bobrisky. Let me challenge the police. Let me challenge the government over this matter. So the question is, who exactly are you fighting with? So your case has to be very clear, and it has to be well tailored or well targeted it has to be properly directed. That's what we are saying. But we just look at it now, everything scatters in so many directions. So how do you address this issue when even in any society, the member of that society that is meant to deal with it, a larger percentage of them may seem to go well or go along with the breaking of the law? So this is what makes some of this work a difficult task.
Okay, thank you very much, Pastor Logan. Now,
sorry, if I may just add something before you ask your next question.
Okay.
So, something to what he said. You know, he said now that, okay, fine, it has to be a collective thing, and that one person cannot engage the government and all that. I want to disagree with that a little. You know why? One organization, look at what SERAP is doing. SERAP is one organization out of
he's trying, he's trying,
yes, of organizations in Nigeria.
I'm really impressed with him.
When SERAP does something, you find out that the whole Nigeria throws their weight behind it. If one civil society organization comes out and say, no, this thing Bobrisky is doing is against our laws. Let's even forget the morality of it. It's against our laws. Police, here's our petition. Prosecute him to the fullest extent of the law, right? Yes, it may be one organization that will take that step and write that petition. But once it becomes public, you find out that all Nigerians will rally behind him. Look at what happened to this very dark man person. Yes, he was arrested personally, but you saw what happened, how Nigerians began to rally. I tell you the truth, if he was kept maybe another week or 2 weeks, what you'll find is people will begin to protest, the protests will begin to build, like it happened for people like Nnamdi Kanu. So evil in society will always thrive when people who are righteous keep quiet. We must continue to speak, we must continue to resist it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ben. Now, Ben, let me ask you before we go now. Now, at the cost of Eniola, let me back to him now. Now, at the cost of Eniola now, she came out and crying, and then, appealing to the whole Nigeria now. But I was surprised when I saw her again with Bobrisky. Now, does it mean that Eniola is pretending? The narrative that Eniola told Nigeria that Tokyo, they were just use it as a, maybe scammer or whatever, they were just use it to play, which means Eniola is, is fabricating it. It's lies to the whole country. Because if it's not fabricating it, if it's not hiding on the back of Bobrisky, or if she does not rely on Bobrisky, she won't be able to invite Bobrisky again. For her to invite Bobrisky again to come over to where she was, or swing her film, which means Eniola Gao, is deceiving and is lying to the whole country. So what do you think?
For me, I'm on a live program. Come on. For me, Eniola is trying to make her money back.
But not in that way. You appeal to the country, and you see invited in, and you hold his hand, and which means he saw that Tokyo, they can't do anything because he said that he's already make about maybe 60 million or whatever, or 68 million or whatever, something there. Do you believe that that he really make that money? I don't believe in it.
So the thing is this: the people who are backers of LGBTQ, they are very powerful and they have a lot of money, very deep pockets. And here is an Eniola who claimed that she spent all her life savings to do this movie. And she was begging Nigerians to come out and support her to buy tickets to her movie so she can recoup her money. And then she looked at it. Okay, what are the things that I can do now to get traffic, to get buzz? And she decided to invite a Bobrisky. And of course, she got traffic, she got attention. But of course, she would be scared because a lot of people started raising these legal issues. And so to protect herself, she came out to do that apology. Whether it is heartfelt or not heartfelt, there's no way for us and as individuals to know, because we certainly do not possess the powers to read people's minds. But of course, after all the accusations and counter accusations happened, what you saw was that people started making excuses. There was this program on TVC, Your View, where the whole of I think one of them particularly was making legal excuse for Bobrisky, that Bobrisky is a cross-dresser and that there is no law against cross-dressing in Nigeria. And somehow, nobody has come to counter that. It was allowed to slide. And if you are an Eniola, who wants to make money? Because think about it. Things that are serious in this country, in fact, not only in this country, in the world, things that are serious, they don't get you views. And if you don't get views, you don't make money. So he looks at it and says, this thing that some people were saying is illegal. Some other persons have now come out to say, it's not illegal. There's no law against cross-dressing. And you saw that window. And you can hide behind that window to invite a Bobrisky again. Wouldn't you do it? For her, she wants to make money.
Okay, let me ask you a question now. In that area, now, between Bobrisky and Ramota, who do you think that is the best among them?
Who is Ramota? I don't know Ramota.
Ramota, I saw one lady, one girl, I think it's living in Ikorodu, where a lot of people, making use of her, So, she's a very popular lady in Nigeria now, very popular. She has been in this acting for a while, not, she has been there for, she has been there for a while. But if you don't know her, but to the best of my knowledge, if they ask my opinion, I prefer that Ramota than Bobrisky. I'm not against transgender.
Is Ramota a woman?
Gay. She's a woman. Ramota, she's a woman. Okay, if you look at
I think Ramota's case, in my opinion, is completely different from Bobrisky. Ramota is, even though she's advanced in age, she is a little girl with a form of disability.
Yes.
It is very unfortunate. We live in a society where the system doesn't care about people's condition. So if Ramota were to be somewhere in UK, lo and behold, she will be living on what is called disability living allowance.
Of course,
there
of
will
course.
be special support in
Of
place.
course, of course.
Of course, she will enjoy almost even more benefit than people that are able. So Ramota's case is a case of pure disability.
Yeah.
Now, most of what she is doing is beyond her. Is beyond her. Let me just put it that way, so one won't use any derogatory word for her. So most of what she is doing is beyond her. But in case of Bobrisky, Bobrisky is quite sane, and he is deliberately doing what he is doing. Is promoting his own method, possibly because he wants to gain attention, or maybe he saw a loophole into making money. Don't forget that our society, once you find a loophole to make money, whether it is against the law or not, the first thing is, let me make my money first and deal with the law or deal with the government later. And this is almost, I mean, we have people doing different type of things. Some of it may sound very silly to us. Some of it may even be embarrassing. So we see people, I mean, undressing themselves to make a skit just because they want to make money. So people do various things in our society to make money. And I believe one of the things, is it Bobrisky or Bobrisky? Please let me pronounce his name correctly. Is it Bobrisky or Bobrisky?
Bobrisky.
Okay,
yeah. Bob is very, very risky.
Bob is really, yeah. One of the things he's doing is he made a discovery. So he was possibly the first person who set that precedence openly in Nigeria as to the issue of cross-gender. So maybe he was doing it to get attention. Maybe he was doing it to make money. And gradually it became popular. So it wasn't, if he were to be acting alone, I don't think he would be as strong as he is. So there could be 1 or 2 or 3 people. And the more he promotes himself, the more he's getting attention. The more he's getting support, the more he's gaining ground, the more he is becoming popular. Now it has gotten to a level whereby between recognizing him and his position or fighting that position, we are now on the thin line as to what can the society do at this level. Come out openly and condemn him and stop him, or allow him to continue and see it as normal. So we are just at a level where we have to do something.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, before we go, Ben
is muted. If he can unmute himself.
Sorry. Ben, I was going to say that this Ramota thing, I just checked her out. She's this petite young woman, old woman. They call her Auntie Ramota.
You know, now, let me quickly ask you a question now. Now, what can you talk about this very dark man?
Funny
because
enough,
I can see it's a controversial guy on the internet. What can you talk about him?
Very dark man. See, I came out and I did a video in support of Very Dark Man that it should be released based on purely legal reasons. The Administration of Criminal Justice Act specifies that if anybody is even found to be in breach of any laws in Nigeria, follow the procedure for charging that, arresting the person and charging that person to court. Let the person have his day in court. There's a procedure for it. And that procedure prescribes that you cannot just arrest somebody and keep the person beyond 24 hours. And if the court is farther than 50 kilometers from the police, then it can be kept for 48 hours. But beyond that, you must release the person. And that was not followed by the police. It's on that basis, coupled with the fact that he's trying to speak against this whole gay thing and LGBTQ thing, that made me support him. Now, it doesn't mean that I support everything he does. Now, he's a guy. Where I stand, he's a man, and he wears earrings, and then he plaits his hair. All of those things are not things that I subscribe to personally. So if we're talking about values and we're talking about conduct becoming of a young person as we allow it in our society. I don't think I will allow that from even the very dark man himself. But we must specify things based on legality. His own now, it's not illegal to plait your hair. It's not illegal to wear a ring as a man, right? So those things will fall purely on moral domain. But for the case of Bobrisky, it's purely legal. And then it's also very, very highly moral. So that's why I would support a fight against that immorality of Bobrisky. But also, I would not support the moral values of a man wearing earrings and plaiting his hair.
Okay, now let me come to that area before we go. Now, let me give you an example. Now, if you go to America now, most of these young pastors in America, they put on tattoo and then, earring. They see have a follower. They got a lot of followers. Than even though we came with other pastors that came from Africa or even here, you see them, they got a lot of followers. To me, earring, I think that's your own belief. It doesn't have anything to do, or if someone having a tattoo. I get my point now, because for this side now, I have a son, understand? So if you look at him now, he got tattoo, still all his body there. When he wanted to make a tattoo, he don't even take permission from me. I just saw him, with tattoo, all over his body and co. And then when he came to Nigeria the other time, I was, they were driving in front of me, and then the police, I was coming behind them, and then one of the police just stopped them at that of Pepe just on there, because he's, he removed his cloak, and then the police wanted to harass him. They wanted to take him as some, as Yahoo boys. I quickly jump up of the car to know how our system is being corrupted. If I did not come out of the car, they could have bungled my son and take him, take him away and then putting cocaine or whatever in his pocket. I said, no. You say anything, you see him, removing his shirt because he was so hot. And why did you bungle him out? And then we started dragging it to know how our system in Nigeria, with our policemen, is very corrupt. All other police officers, they were just looking. And they came back to me to be begging me. In the area of that very dark man, I will not like you to judge him with that earring or whatsoever something there.
No.
You can say that
I'm not
I'm going to ask you now.
Sorry, before you ask me that question,
yeah.
I'm not judging very, very, very dark man.
Yeah.
Myself, it's not like I am one perfect human being. No, I have my shortcomings, you understand? And that's why I specify that it is not a legal issue that he wears earring or that he plaits his hair as a man. It's not a legal issue. But let's consider something. When they say, Yoruba say that if you want to eat okpolo, you eat the one that has egg.
Yeah.
This whole thing about gay, they started creeping into Nigeria small. It started from all this, you can wear tattoo, you can plait your hair, you can wear earring as a guy. That's how it started.
Yeah.
So if we're not going to go the full hog, we should be careful what we accept. Because in the long run, they'll start telling you, oh, this is this and that is that. Now, for your son, he's based in the UK or in America. I think you are based in UK.
Yeah, based in UK, yeah.
Good. The laws of the society, they permit it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
We have to work with, it's like somebody is in UK or somebody is in America. Even the traditions in UK, they differ. Our traditions here, the way we do it is oral, for instance. Now, you can't say somebody is Yoruba, and because it's Yoruba and he loves his tradition so much, he will now go to London and go and be practicing oral. You can't practice it there. But in Nigeria, in Lagos, we saw what happened during the elections, where on the eve of elections, the Obas declared oral. It is our culture, it's our tradition. So in Nigeria here, we have cultures, we have traditions, we have moral codes, right? And people have differing opinions on to the extent to which they accept certain morals, certain codes of conduct, right? We are all here where Catholic Church in Nigeria now have said, how can you say that we should bless same-sex marriage? That is illegal in our own domain. If any Catholic pastor goes to bless it, that Catholic pastor, according to this law that we're looking at here now, that pastor or that priest is going to jail for 15 years, for 14 years.
Okay.
But meanwhile, the Vatican, the Pope has said it is okay. In their domain, it is okay. So let's understand context. Where we are determines a lot how we respond to morals,
Okay.
the kind of things we accept. So it's not like I'm criticizing and opposing. I have a lot of young guys that work for me that do those things. And I tell them that, okay, look, I don't agree with this. As much as I don't agree, I won't come against you for it. But know that what does it say about you? For you to accept those kind of values, you have to have a certain kind of mindset. And that's what I feel we should guard against.
Thank you very much. Now, we are running up now.
Sorry, let me just add to what Ben has said.
Okay.
And one thing we shouldn't forget is that there is no society where people don't break the law. That's why we have the law. That's why we have the law enforcement. That's why we have the court. And that's why we have punishment in place. For example, going back to the Bible, an incident happened in the book of Genesis, in the story of Sodom and Gomorrah versus Lot. We also saw what happened when 2 angels came. They became visitors in Lot's house, and the men of Sodom want to have a carnal knowledge of these men. Of course, God became angry. But as at that time, it wasn't a law in Israel. Now, coming back to the book of Leviticus, chapter 18, a law was given that man must not sleep with man as if he's sleeping with woman. Then in Leviticus 20, verse 13, it became an outright law that whoever is caught in that wise, the penalty is he or she will be stoned to death. That was the penalty. Now, moving on, the same society, they received the same law. They were being governed directly by the law of God, on and on and on. When you get to the book of Judges, the story of the people of Benjamin, a man came and lodged in the city center of Bethlehem. Then another very kind, I call him a humble, kind man, saw him and he said, look, this place where you are is dangerous. Come with me to my house, because if you stay here, it will become too dangerous for you. The old man took this visitor home. In the middle of the night, the people of Benjamin came in large number, knocking on the door of this good man that harbored the visitor. They said, bring him out. We want to sleep with him. We want to have a carnal knowledge of him. Now, this is a society that received the law from Moses. They know the implication of what they are doing, yet they were breaking the law. So people are happy to break the law if there are no consequences. But the moment consequences is introduced or put in place or enforced, lo and behold, now this case of Bobrisky we are talking about today is not whether it's not whether we have potential Bobrisky in the society. We have them in thousands, if not in millions. But they know the implication and they are not rich and powerful enough to come out. Now, Bobrisky is rich, Bobrisky is powerful, and where is the source of his power? The people behind him. And for that reason, he can come out and promote what he is promoting. This is where the problem is. So if this man can be promoting what he is promoting, you are sending signal to the younger generation that, look, all it takes is for you to be somebody to be able to do certain things. So this thing, as far as the system is concerned, it is not wrong. And that is why what we are saying that, look, it is wrong. It must be addressed as being wrong. It must be, consequences must be put in place. The law must be supreme over this matter and not certain individual being above the law. This is what we are saying.
Thank you very much, Pastor Logan. Thank you very much. Now, before we go now, let me start from you, Pastor Logan. Now, what advice, just 1 minute, what advice can you give to our government and our youth back home? Just 1 minute.
Well, the government is the people and the people are the government. So let the government come out clean on everything they put in black and white. Let the law not just be there without implementation. So implement the law and force people to obey it. At least all of us, many of us have been born in the days of Idiagbon and Buhari in the early 80s. So you break the law and face the consequence. It is as simple as that. So let them help, let the government help us. If our law is weak, people will be happy to break it. And breaking the law when nothing happens, they will only criminals will only get stronger. That's it. So let the government do more. They are doing well. Nobody is criticizing them, but let them do more. Every good thing has the tendency to get better. So let them do more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ben, thank you. Now, before we go now, we talk about a very dark man. And then what advice can you give to very dark man, in order to progress more in his own way? And then to our youth generally.
To our youth, they should realize that
1 minute.
Gay, same-sex affection displayed in public is a crime punishable by 10 years. And same-sex marriage is a crime punishable with 14 years. They should realize that. Then the government should know, like Pastor Ologun just said, that they are supposed to enforce the law. And this concerns the police. They should enforce the law so that it can deter and discourage others from following suit. Because if they fail to do that, others will be encouraged to do same. And for our Nigerian youth, there are better ways to make money. There are better ways to make money. It's not everybody who copies Bobrisky that will make money. Many of them will end up being used for nothing. There are better ways to make money. Look for those better ways and do it. If not, hold your government accountable. Get involved in government. These kind of things that are outright breaking of the law should not be encouraged, and I advise them not to go into it.
Okay, what for the very dark man?
Very dark man should be careful the way he fights this battle, because for me now it's looking like it's a personal vendetta. He should be careful how he fights it. If he's fighting it based on the fact that, okay, it's an illegal thing, I support him on that. But going to the extent of calling names and saying things that he cannot outrightly prove, I would not ask him to do those kind of things again. But definitely in terms of fighting against this injustice in the society, I am fully 100% behind him.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Pastor Ologun, thank you for coming. I can say, Ben, thank you. I really appreciate you there.